Every morning, Laura thought she was just serving coffee to another quiet man in a suit, until one night, a warning note dragged her into a world she never imagined. Suddenly, the stranger who always sat at her counter was revealed to be a man with power, enemies, and secrets too heavy to hide. Just when she began to understand who Daniel really was, danger tore him away before her eyes. But in the rain, when he finally returned, bruised and broken, Laura realized their story was far more than coffee and small smiles. It was a love tangled in power, fear, and the kind of truth that changes everything. Every morning, Laura tied her apron and walked into the small coffee shop on Pine Street. She didn't think her life was special. She worked long hours, paid her bills late, and dreamed of one day escaping the tired streets of her neighborhood. But every morning, without fail, a tall man in a sharp suit came in at exactly 7:15. His name was Daniel. He always ordered the same thing: black coffee, no sugar, no cream. He barely spoke except for a polite thank you. To Laura, he was just another busy man in the city. What she didn't know was that Daniel wasn't just any man. He quietly owned buildings, hotels, and half the land she walked on every day. And yet he kept coming back, not for the coffee but for her. Something about the way she smiled at him even on her worst days pulled him in. Daniel lived in a world of money, power, and secrets. He was used to people pretending to like him for what he had. That's why Laura felt different. She had no idea who he really was, and she treated him like anyone else. Sometimes she even teased him when he looked too serious. But Daniel's world wasn't safe. Rivals wanted to break him, and enemies circled like vultures. One evening after closing time, Laura stepped outside and found a black car waiting. A man she didn't recognize handed her an envelope with Daniel's name on it. Inside was a note, asterisk, stay away from him. He's not who you think. Asterisk. Laura's hands shook. She didn't understand. Why would anyone warn her about a man who only drank coffee and barely spoke? She decided to ask Daniel the next morning, but deep down, fear whispered to her that her life was about to change forever. When Laura finally asked, Daniel's eyes darkened. For the first time, he spoke more than a few words. Laura, he said slowly, there are things about me you don't know. Things I've hidden for a reason. He explained that he owned much of the city, that his name was whispered in boardrooms and feared in dark alleys. Laura stared at him in disbelief, her heart pounding. She thought of her simple life, her small paycheck, her messy apartment. Why would a man like you keep coming here, to me? She asked, her voice trembling. Daniel leaned closer. Because with you I feel human. You look at me and see a man, not a crown. But just as the truth began to sink in, the coffee shop door burst open. Two men in black suits walked in, their faces hard, their eyes fixed on Daniel. It's time, one of them said. Laura froze, realizing she was standing on the edge of a world she wasn't ready for. The men dragged Daniel outside, and Laura followed without thinking. She watched as they shoved him into the back of the black car and sped off. Her chest tightened with panic. She had no idea where they were taking him, but she knew one thing. Daniel was in danger. That night she couldn't sleep. She replayed every morning in her head. His quiet smile, the way he held his coffee like it was the only steady thing in his world. The next day, Laura found a note slipped under the coffee shop door. It was written in Daniel's handwriting, asterisk, don't look for me. It's too dangerous. But know this, I came every morning for you. Asterisk. Tears blurred her vision. She wanted to run, to hide, to pretend none of this was real. But something stronger pulled at her. For the first time, she didn't want her life to be ordinary anymore. She wanted him back. Weeks passed and rumors filled the city. Some said Daniel had been betrayed by his own people. Others whispered that he was gone forever. Laura kept working at the coffee shop, pouring cups for strangers, but her heart was somewhere else. Then one rainy morning, the bell over the shop door rang. She looked up and there he was. Daniel stood in the doorway, bruised but alive. Their eyes locked and everything else faded. He walked to her slowly, as if every step carried the weight of battles she would never fully understand. I had to fight my way back, he said softly, his voice breaking. But I couldn't leave without telling you, you're the only part of my life that's real. Laura's heart swelled with both fear and hope. She reached for his hand across the counter, knowing that whatever came next, danger, secrets, or love, her life would never be the same again.